Have you ever wondered what it takes to captivate a man's heart and make him crave your presence? What if I told you that there's a rare quality, one that only women possess, that drives men wild in ways most women can't even imagine? Today, we're diving into a profound truth, a quality that not only sets you apart, but makes you irreplaceable in the eyes of any man. This isn't about looks, charm, or even how you dress. It's something deeper, something rare, and something you can cultivate. Let's uncover what this quality is and how you can harness it to transform your relationships. Self-respect is the bedrock upon which everything else in life is built, particularly when it comes to relationships. Women who possess self-respect understand their worth in a profound, undeniable way. They don't need to seek external validation from men, nor do they expect others to determine their value. This isn't about arrogance or superiority. It's about holding a deep, unshakable belief in one's inherent dignity, strengths, and abilities. A woman who respects herself is one who understands that her needs, desires, and dreams are just as important as anyone else's. She isn't willing to compromise these things for fleeting affection or shallow attention. It is often said that self-respect is the foundation of all meaningful relationships. And this is especially true when it comes to romantic connect. Men are instinctively drawn to women who know their worth, because these women set boundaries that protect their mental, emotional, and physical well-being. They don't tolerate mistreatment or disrespect. This is an incredibly attractive quality to men because it signals that the woman is someone who won't easily be taken for granted. The problem many women face is that they believe they must constantly prove their value in relationships, whether by being overly accommodating, sacrificing their own needs, or simply seeking to please. The reality, however, is that when a woman feels the need to chase affection or approval, she weakens her position in the eyes of the man. In contrast, a woman who holds herself in high regard is not looking for approval. She already has it from within. When a woman has self-respect, it doesn't mean she's closed off or unapproachable. In fact, it's quite the opposite. She knows how to express her emotions, but she's also aware of her worth when it comes to choosing who she allows into her life. She knows that the right relationship won't require her to change who she is to fit someone else's expectations or desires. It also means she's able to recognize when a relationship isn't serving her growth, and she's not afraid to walk away from situations that don't align with her values. There's power in knowing when to let go, and this is something that many men find both admirable and magnetic. It shows that the woman is not desperate or dependent on anyone else for her happiness. Her happiness is her own responsibility, and this is a trait that commands respect and admiration. Moreover, self-respect leads to a level of emotional maturity that many men are drawn to. When a woman knows and values herself, she is more likely to communicate her thoughts and feelings clearly, honestly, and respectfully. There's no guessing or wondering with someone who respects herself. What she says is what she means. And that creates an atmosphere of trust and stability. Men deeply value directness and transparency. And a woman who has self-respect is often more confident in expressing herself, which leads to a more genuine, open, and meaningful connection. At the core, self-respect also goes hand in hand with self-love. This is not the kind of love that's driven by vanity or ego, but rather a profound sense of appreciation for one's own being. A woman who truly loves herself doesn't need external validation to feel worthy. She knows that her value isn't based on her appearance, her accomplishments, or the opinions of others. Her worth is inherent, and this internal sense of value translates into every aspect of her life. This doesn't mean she's perfect. Everyone has their flaws and imperfections, but it does mean that she is fully at peace with who she is, regardless of what anyone else may think. When a woman exudes self-respect, she teaches those around her how to treat her. She's not afraid to set standards for the kind of behavior she will and will not accept. For men, This is incredibly important because it lets them know that any connection with her will require effort, integrity, and respect. A man cannot simply breeze through a relationship with a woman who values herself. He must engage with her at a deeper level, one that is rooted in mutual respect and understanding. Men often find themselves inspired by women who hold strong boundaries and principles. It challenges them to be better, not only as a partner, but as an individual. Interestingly, self-respect also makes a woman more approachable and relatable. While it may seem like self-respecting women are intimidating, the truth is that they are often more open to healthy, fulfilling relationships because they're not emotionally attached out. They don't need someone to complete them. They're already whole. This gives them the freedom to engage with men on a level that's authentic and true, rather than based on fear or neediness. Additionally, a woman who respects herself will prioritize her personal growth. She understands that her development as a person isn't dependent on anyone else's approval as she works on herself, whether through career pursuits, education, hobbies, or self-care. She becomes even more attractive. This drive for self-improvement radiates outward and draws people in. Men appreciate women who have their own passions, goals, and pursuits because it demonstrates strength, ambition, and a sense of purpose that is independent of anyone else. In relationships, this quality of self-respect manifests in how a woman expects to be treated. She is not afraid to communicate her needs, and she ensures that any relationship she engages in supports her well-being and growth. This creates an environment of mutual respect where both partners can thrive and evolve, rather than one being dependent on the other for happiness or fulfillment. Ultimately, the woman who possesses self-respect becomes a force of nature. She doesn't seek to dominate or control, but she certainly will not tolerate being disrespected. This quiet strength, this unwavering belief in her own worth, is what makes her truly captivating. She knows that her happiness is her responsibility, and as a result, she attracts men who are not just drawn to her physical beauty, but to her inner strength, wisdom, and sense of self-worth. It is this rare quality, self-respect, that sets the foundation for the most powerful, fulfilling, and lasting relationships. Emotional independence is one of the most empowering qualities a woman can possess, and it's something that men deeply value in relationships. It's about having the ability to stand strong emotionally without relying on others for validation, support, or a sense of identity. Emotional independence is not about shutting off feelings or becoming emotionally distant. Rather, it's about cultivating the emotional maturity and self-awareness necessary to navigate life's ups and downs with grace, resilience, and a sense of self-sufficiency. When a woman is emotionally independent, she is secure in her sense of self. She doesn't need constant affirmation from others to feel good about herself, nor does she depend on someone else's mood to determine her own. She knows that her happiness, peace, and emotional well-being are her own responsibility, not something that is handed to her by anyone else. This ability to regulate and manage her emotions without being swept away by external circumstances creates a powerful sense of calm and control. Men are naturally attracted to women who have this kind of emotional stability because it suggests maturity and a grounded presence. They don't need to worry about emotional drama or feeling like they are responsible for their partner's emotional state. There is a sense of ease and comfort in being with someone who is emotionally self-sufficient. This emotional independence also means that a woman does not lose herself in a relationship. She is not dependent on her partner to define who she is or what her life's purpose is. Instead, she maintains her individuality, her passions, her hobbies, and her interests, and she continues to grow as a person. Men are attracted to women who have their own lives, their own aspirations, and their own sense of purpose because it's a sign of emotional strength. A woman who maintains her emotional independence doesn't cling to the relationship or rely on it to fill an emotional void. She is secure enough to allow her partner to be themselves without the pressure of needing them to complete her. Emotional independence is also deeply tied to the concept of self-love. A woman who loves herself will not tolerate mistreatment, neglect, or unhealthy dynamics in her relationships. She knows her worth, and she does not allow herself to be manipulated, controlled, or emotionally drained by anyone. This is incredibly attractive to men because it signals that she is not a passive participant in the relationship. She's not going to settle for anything less than respect, kindness, and emotional honesty. She doesn't stay in relationships out of fear of being alone or out of a need for validation. She stays because she wants to, because the relationship adds value to her life. In practical terms, emotional independence allows a woman to engage in relationships without the constant need for reassurance. She doesn't need her partner to tell her she's beautiful every day, nor does she need constant emotional validation to feel secure. This doesn't mean that she doesn't appreciate affection or attention, but rather it means that her sense of worth isn't tied to external approval. She understands that her worth is inherent and no amount of external praise or criticism can change that. This emotional maturity also allows a woman to handle conflict in a relationship in a healthy way. When emotions aren't clouding her judgment, she can approach disagreements with a clear mind and a steady heart, rather than becoming reactive or defensive. She takes the time to understand her own feelings and communicates them thoughtfully. She doesn't need her partner to fix her emotions or tell her how she should feel. Instead, she takes responsibility for her emotional reactions, recognizing that her feelings are her own to manage. This creates a healthier dynamic in the relationship where both partners are able to express their emotions without the fear of being overwhelmed by them or controlled by them. Another key aspect of emotional independence is the ability to enjoy being alone. This does not mean that a woman is lonely or detached from others, but rather it means that she is comfortable in her own company. She enjoys her own solitude, reflects on her thoughts, and spends time nurturing her own mental and emotional health. This independence is incredibly powerful because it shows that she is not afraid of being alone and that she doesn't need a partner to fill a void in her life. When a woman is emotionally independent, she doesn't feel pressure to always be in a relationship or to settle for someone who doesn't align with her values. She is content with herself, and that self-sufficiency radiates in all areas of her life. Men are drawn to this emotional independence because it signifies strength and resilience. They know that a woman who is emotionally independent can weather the storms of life with grace and composure. She is not easily shaken by external circumstances, nor is she dependent on someone else to make her feel good about herself. This quality creates a sense of security in the relationship where both partners can thrive individually while still growing together. Emotional independence allows a woman to offer her love, affection, and attention freely without the burden of needing it in return. She can love deeply and fully without fear of losing herself in the process. Furthermore, emotional independence enables a woman to set healthy boundaries. She knows when to say no, when to prioritize herself, and when to step away from situations or people that drain her emotional energy. Boundaries are essential for maintaining healthy relationships, and a woman who is emotionally independent has the strength to enforce them without guilt. She understands that self-care and emotional well-being are non-negotiable, and that her men respect and admire this emotional autonomy because it indicates that a woman is whole, complete, and self-assured. She doesn't rely on anyone to feel validated or secure, and this independence fosters a sense of equality and mutual respect in a relationship, rather than seeking validation or constantly needing reassurance. She can engage with her partner in a way that is balanced, respectful, and emotional independence is a rare and highly attractive quality that allows a woman to navigate life and relationships with strength, grace, and authenticity, all while remaining true to herself. In conclusion, emotional independence is not about being emotionally detached or distant. It is about emotional strength, self-sufficiency, and resilience. It is the ability to stand firm in your emotions, to take responsibility for your feelings, and to maintain your sense of self regardless of the circumstances. It is a quality that not only attracts men, but also sets the stage for healthy, fulfilling relationships. When a woman is emotionally independent, she is not only attractive to men, but she is also more capable of creating a partnership that is built on mutual respect, love, and shared growth. Authenticity and integrity are two of the most captivating qualities a woman can embody, especially in the context of relationships. These qualities are what set a woman apart and make her stand out in a world where many people wear masks, pretend to be someone they're not, or act out of alignment with their true selves. Authenticity means showing up as who you really are, without pretense or the need to conform to someone else's idea of what you should be. Integrity, on the other hand, involves living in alignment with your values, acting with honesty, and maintaining consistency between what you say and what you do together. These two qualities create a powerful and magnetic presence that draws people in, particularly men who value authenticity and integrity in their partners. When a woman is authentic, she isn't afraid to be herself, flaws and all. She doesn't hide behind a carefully constructed facade or try to fit into a mold that society or others have created for her. She shows up as she truly is, confident in her own skin without worrying about judgment or criticism. This authenticity is incredibly attractive because it signals that the woman is secure in her identity. Men are drawn to women who are comfortable being real, because they know there is no deception, no game playing, and no false pretenses. There's something incredibly magnetic about someone who isn't afraid to reveal themselves, someone who is willing to be vulnerable and transparent. This sense of authenticity creates an environment of trust. When you are authentic, you communicate honestly and openly, and this opens the door for deeper connections. Men appreciate a woman who is direct and truthful in her interactions, because it allows them to feel that they know her on a genuine level. There's no guesswork, no trying to decipher mixed signals or hidden agendas. What you see is what you get, and that consistency creates a strong foundation for a healthy relationship. Men know they can rely on an authentic woman to be honest, not only about the big things, but also about the small, everyday matters that help form the foundation of a relationship. Moreover, authenticity fosters emotional intimacy. When a woman is authentic, she invites her partner into her world. She doesn't hide her thoughts, feelings, or desires out of fear of being judged. Instead, she expresses herself clearly and with confidence. This openness allows both partners to connect on a deeper emotional level, creating a bond that is based on mutual understanding, respect. Men are often drawn to women who show vulnerability and share their inner thoughts and experiences, because it creates an emotional space where both partners can be their true selves without fear of rejection or criticism. This level of emotional intimacy is what many men crave in relationships. It's what deepens the connection and makes it feel more fulfilling. Authenticity also encourages personal growth. A woman who is true to herself isn't afraid to acknowledge her mistakes, shortcomings, or areas of improvement. She is not striving for perfection, but rather striving to be better, more authentic, and more aligned with her true values. This growth mindset is appealing because it shows that she is constantly evolving and learning, both for her own personal development and for the betterment of the relationship. A woman who is authentic isn't stuck in her ways or afraid of change. Instead, she embraces growth with an open heart and mind. This openness to self-improvement is something that men admire and respect, because it suggests that the woman is willing to work on herself and the relationship, creating a space for both partners to evolve together. Integrity plays a vital role in relationships. because it strengthens the trust and respect that are essential for any meaningful connection. A woman with integrity is someone whose actions align with her words. She is reliable, dependable, and follows through on her commitments. Men are drawn to women who act with integrity because it gives them a sense of security and certainty. They know that they can count on her and that her word is her bond. This kind of consistency is foundational to any lasting relationship. Integrity is about doing the right thing even when no one is watching, and it's about staying true to one's moral compass even when it's difficult. A woman who consistently acts with integrity builds a reputation for honesty, trustworthiness, and reliability, qualities that are indispensable in a healthy, thriving relationship. In relationships, integrity means being upfront and honest about feelings, desires, and expectations. A woman with integrity does not play games or manipulate situations to get what she wants. She communicates clearly and respectfully, even when the conversation is difficult or uncomfortable. This honesty creates an environment where both partners feel safe to express themselves, knowing that their partner will be truthful and respectful. And men are often drawn to women who are straightforward because it means they won't have to deal with unnecessary drama, confusion, or dishonesty. There's a sense of relief in knowing that what you see is what you get, and that the woman you're with will always be upfront about her thoughts and feelings. Integrity also extends to how a woman treats others. A woman of integrity treats everyone with respect, regardless of their status, background, or relationship to her. She is kind, compassionate, and fair in her interactions, and she demonstrates this in both big and small ways. Men are naturally drawn to women who are not only respectful and kind to them, but also to the people around them. This is a sign of a woman who is grounded, compassionate, and emotionally intelligent. Her integrity shines through in how she interacts with the world. It's something that men notice and appreciate. Another powerful aspect of authenticity and integrity is that these qualities help to create a relationship based on mutual respect and equality. A woman who is authentic doesn't feel the need to manipulate or control her partner. She trusts in her own value and respects her partner's individuality. She doesn't try to change him or mold him into someone he's not. Instead, she allows space for him to be himself, just as she expects the same from him. This creates a dynamic where both partners can be true to themselves without feeling the need to perform or hide their true nature. The relationship becomes a partnership of equals, where both individuals bring their authentic selves to the table, enriching the connection with honesty, respect, and understanding. Ultimately, authenticity and integrity form the foundation of the most powerful and fulfilling relationships. When a woman is authentic and lives with integrity, she attracts men who value these same qualities. They see her as someone who is dependable, genuine, and emotionally strong. Someone who will not only bring love, affection, and support to the relationship, but will also challenge them to grow, evolve, and be their best selves. These qualities create a magnetic presence that not only draws men in, but also fosters the deep, lasting connection that leads to a fulfilling and meaningful partnership. Authenticity and integrity are not just attractive. They are essential for creating a relationship that is built on trust, respect, and love. Respecting a man's space is one of the most subtle yet powerful aspects of building a healthy, lasting relationship. It speaks to emotional maturity, understanding, and the ability to cultivate a balanced connection where both individuals can thrive both together and apart. In a world where relationships often come with pressure and expectations, the ability to honor a partner's need for personal space is a rare and highly desirable trait. Respecting his space isn't about distance, indifference, or withdrawing affection. Rather, it's about recognizing that every individual, regardless of the strength of the relationship, requires moments of solitude, reflection, and time to recharge. It's about understanding that A successful partnership doesn't demand constant closeness, but instead flourishes in an environment where both partners can grow individually and come together with renewed energy. When a woman respects a man's space, she acknowledges that he is a whole person with his own thoughts, feelings, and experiences that are separate from her. This respect creates an atmosphere where he feels comfortable and free to be himself, without the pressure of needing to fulfill all of her emotional needs at every moment. Men, like women, have their own emotional landscapes and sometimes need time to process thoughts, work on personal projects, or simply unwind. A woman who respects his need for personal space demonstrates emotional intelligence and maturity. She understands that this space isn't a reflection of his lack of interest in her or the relationship. It's simply a part of his own emotional well-being. By giving him space, she fosters an environment of trust where he feels understood and supported rather than smothered or suffocated. The ability to respect his space also speaks to the self-assurance a woman has in the relationship. Often, relationships are built on a delicate balance between togetherness and independence. A woman who feels secure in herself doesn't need to constantly cling to her partner or demand his attention. She trusts that the relationship is strong enough to endure moments of distance, knowing that quality time together is far more meaningful when both partners have the space to be their authentic selves. Men are naturally drawn to women who are secure in their own right, as this allows them the freedom to pursue their own passions, hobbies, and individual goals without feeling like their partner is demanding their constant presence. Respecting his space also allows for healthier communication. A woman who doesn't press him for attention or demand that he be emotionally available 24/7 creates an environment where conversations happen more naturally and openly. When both individuals have time to reflect and think about their needs, they're more likely to engage in meaningful, thoughtful discussions when they do come together. This space allows each person to process their emotions and thoughts without feeling the weight of constant emotional demands. Men value this because it gives them the time to process their own feelings, think through challenges, or simply decompress without the feeling that they are being pressured to respond immediately or act on someone else's timeline. On a deeper level, respecting his space means trusting him. It demonstrates a belief that he is capable of taking care of himself, managing his own emotions, and finding his own path when needed. This trust removes any pressure that might otherwise exist in the relationship, allowing both partners to feel secure and confident in their own autonomy. The relationship becomes less about controlling one another and more about mutual respect and understanding. When a woman shows trust in her partner by respecting his space, she communicates that she believes in his ability to thrive both individually and within the relationship. This dynamic of trust is a strong foundation for emotional security in the relationship. Moreover, respecting his space is a form of self-care. It's important for both partners in any relationship to maintain their sense of individuality. A woman who respects her partner's space also understands the necessity of having her own time to focus on her own needs, whether it's pursuing her own interests, spending time with friends, or engaging in personal growth. By prioritizing her own well-being and respecting her partner's need for solitude, she sets an example of healthy relationship dynamics. This balance allows both partners to nurture their relationship while maintaining their individual identities. It demonstrates maturity and shows that neither person is dependent on the other. This kind of emotional maturity also leads to greater appreciation when they are together. Relationships that are characterized by emotional freedom and respect for personal space often have more quality time together. When both individuals have time to recharge on their own, they can come together with more energy, excitement, and appreciation for each other's company. The time spent apart actually makes the moments of connection feel more meaningful and fulfilling. Men appreciate this balance as it allows them to experience a deep emotional connection without feeling overwhelmed or trapped in a relationship where constant closeness is demanded. In fact, respecting his space can also strengthen the romantic aspect of the relationship. By not being overly dependent on your partner's constant presence, you create an air of mystery and anticipation. It allows the relationship to grow with a sense of excitement, as both partners have their own lives outside the relationship. This space can also foster personal growth and self-discovery. When both individuals are able to pursue their own interests, goals, and passions, they bring new experiences and perspectives into the relationship, enriching it in ways that would not be possible if they were constantly together. This dynamic creates a sense of appreciation, as both partners are able to bring their unique experiences and qualities to the table. One of the most valuable aspects of respecting a man's space is that it allows for a deeper level of emotional and mental connection. Instead of becoming overly enmeshed or dependent on each other for validation or attention, both individuals learn how to rely on their own emotional resources and develop a deeper understanding of themselves. This kind of emotional self-sufficiency doesn't mean they are emotionally distant. It means that they can be whole and fulfilled on their own and choose to share their lives with each other in a way that adds value and depth to their connection. It creates a relationship that is based on mutual respect, support, and a shared desire to grow together without losing sight of the individual needs of each person. At its core, respecting his space is a sign of love and maturity. It's a demonstration that you love him enough to allow him to have his own space, to grow individually, and to be who he is outside of the relationship. It shows that you trust him enough to give him the freedom to express himself and explore his interests, knowing that the strength of your connection isn't dependent on constant proximity or togetherness. This kind of respect fosters a healthy, balanced relationship where both partners are able to be their true selves, leading to a stronger, more fulfilling bond. Ultimately, respecting a man's space allows both partners to enjoy a deeper, more lasting connection built on trust, understanding, and emotional independence. It leads to a relationship where both individuals are able to grow and thrive, both together and separately, creating a space where love can flourish without being stifled or confined.